سبحان فالق الإصباح.
Ding dong. Hello?
Yes, that's right, infidels. You found us here, channelattitude.com, Hameen Media Group, where you get the most real talk, the best reviews of all your favorite wrestling shows from AEW and WWE, Impact, and more, because we're going to break it all down with the best staff in professional wrestling at HMG. So you don't need to go anywhere else, because there's no 5 stars here. There's only $5 face slaps, infidel. Allahu Akbar! So sign up today, channelattitude.com, Hameen Media Group, and join the Hameen Army for the most real talk in professional wrestling. YOLO!
Warning. The following video clip contains strong language and has therefore been rated 18+ by the YouTube NECCA. Viewer discretion is advised.
The PWC Network. What the world is watching and listening to.
Trying to drown me, full of excuses for way too long. Don't wanna sing another hopeless song, 'cause it's the last time that I romanticize. Riptide, it's a riptide. Don't wanna die, I guess I gotta let it go. Don't wanna die, I guess I gotta let it go. Explaining my pain, this is way too much. I wanna feel you, hurry up, give me the rush, 'cause it's the last time that I romanticize. The riptide that's trying to drown me.
Hello everyone and welcome to the PWC Vengeance Day post-game show. I'm your host Jimmy T, my co-host, man, when I say he's the ever so reliable Dr. Jeff Lippman, I truly mean it. I mean, it's after 4 a.m. for the poor guy. I mean, shit, man. Thank you for being on the show and welcome back. Jeff, how you feeling, man?
What?
Exactly. I mean, seriously.
I mean, as you know, we Juventud Sicaria and La Sicaria got contracted for some dark ops by the Dark Pool Securities Foundation, and I had to get them out of country. First we took them to Martin's Airport to a private Cessna to fly under the radar in line of sight, so we didn't have to turn on the radar. May or may not have landed in a bank off one of the Carolinas, taken a slow boat down to a popular but not particularly busy port side coastal town in Central Florida, From there, it's going to be a little bit overland, over swamp, and then maybe into the Gulf, maybe straight down to the Caribbean. We're not really sure. At that point, the details get fuzzier for security reasons. But let's just say there's going to be some tree barons, a few less tree barons that aren't going to collect more rings in their ages pretty soon.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, dude, I don't know how you're doing it, man. But like I said, I take my hat off to you. No doubt about it.
The airport and back.
I know. Wow. Did it take really that long to get to the airport?
It took like 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
There's no one on the road. It was amazing because there's literally there was like almost nobody on the road, and I managed to find 2 people who were stopped in the middle of highways.
Why?
Well, one guy was clearly lost. He didn't know which way to go on, where the highway split. So he just decided to keep swerving back and forth until he finally realized there were people behind him, even though it was 2:30 in the morning, and decided to go straight, basically, and then realized he was going to go straight into a ravine. So then stopped abruptly.
Shit.
The other one had their hazard lights on, but they were not in the safety lane. I think they were casing an abandoned car that was on the side in distress.
Oh, boy.
But I don't think they were there to render assistance. I think they were there
shit.
to see if they could render any thieving. So,
damn.
Yeah, that was. So yeah, that's just the kind of things that I find in the dark side of the city.
Well, I don't know if there was a thing in your neck of the woods, and I'm sure there was, but here there was a craze where people would just, like, groups of people will literally just come to your car asking, do you need help? Like, they'll stop you and then they'll rob you, literally, like, on the spot.
No,
like,
that
and that was the
great.
thing. Yeah, that was the thing.
I wish I had a group of people I could do that with.
Believe me, it happens, man.
Really?
But it nearly happened to me, man. Whoa, someone here?
Get on that, Lily.
Oh, Lily is featuring also on the show in the background there. But we're here to talk Vengeance, NXT Vengeance to be precise. Surprisingly for me, Jeff, I actually didn't mind the show.
No, yeah, NXT is a very easy watch. I mean, I was talking to some dude. Well, on Twitter, and his, in his profile, his handle is something like positive about AEW. So of course, he's sort of reasonable. I don't remember his name, but he says, I don't like NXT. The matches are too overproduced. And listen, I know what he means.
Sometimes they are, right?
They're sort of homogenized, but I mean, you can't tell me. I mean, he was also telling me he liked Rampage the other day, which we all thought was atrocious. And I mean, you can't tell me that you don't like a match because it's overproduced, but you like the Young Bucks match. I mean, their innovation was actually overproducing and re-overproducing matches to make them like video game matches. I mean,
that's true.
That's what they brought to the industry. I mean, there were teams like the Hardy Boys and the Motor City Machine Guns and the American Wolves that were already doing a lot of the other stuff they were doing. They just turned it into a giant, 4-dimensional choreography. I mean, that's their thing. I mean, so say that you think that they're sort of boring, if anything, they're underproduced. They're very controlled. That's what he means by produced. But anyway, they're very easy. Again, it reminds me of when NWA first came back, season 1 and season 2 of Power, where it was just sort of easy to watch. Matches generally weren't too long, but the matches are more important in NXT than they were in NWA, and NWA was even less match centric than NXT is. And these matches were all pretty respectable. I think. I mean, the one that we talked about pre-production that we disagree on, you really liked it, and I think a lot of people were expecting me a show stealer, but most of the matches went exactly the way I thought they would. So yeah, I went 5 out of 6 with my predictions, and the one that I got wrong, had I gone with my heart, which I know better, I would have gone because I wanted the team to win, but they did not. Well, they actually did. I just didn't think they would. But I'm happy for it.
Well, let's get into it, actually, Jeff. And we start off with the show opens up with Charlotte Flair hosting a video package about NXT getting back on the road, where she puts tonight's principal competitors over. And we start with the first
By the
matchup.
way, she was pretty good at that, wasn't she?
She was, yeah, no doubt about it, for sure.
Like at first, I was taken aback, and then I just decided to just listen to it, and like she was good. Like she's got like a future doing that. I mean, if this wrestling thing doesn't work out for her, after another 8 years or so,
What, you think she can get into commentating and stuff like that? She might be all right, actually.
I think she can get into commentating. But I think at her point, I think what she would probably want to do is like sort of go to John Cena route of like being hosting sort of like Nickelodeon and like lower end award shows before you make yourself up to like the ESPYs and things like that, and then parlay it into, I don't know, maybe like ESPN anchor or something.
I could see that, actually. An ESPN anchor would suit her in some ways. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. You're talking like she's going to retire tomorrow. I'm sure she's got a few years left in there before.
I said 8 years or so.
Yeah, we'll see. But anyway, we start off with the NXT North American Championship match. Wesley's your champion, defending against Donovan Dijak, or should I call him Donovan Dickhead? This match was exactly how it was meant to be. Nevertheless, Wesley ends up winning the match, and yeah, it was decent. It was much better than I was expecting, but yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, Wesley is the consummate babyface that doesn't quit. I really think that I've said this a lot of times before, but I don't know if we have new listeners or viewers. Let's assume we do. I think that he is what they wanted for the next Rey Mysterio. I mean, he's small enough, he's fast enough, he's believable enough, he's likable enough. He can do all the stuff. He's the ultimate, David versus Goliath. Dijak, listen, I liked him in Ring of Honor, sort of. I've always thought he had sort of a weird build. It's like 8 years later, and his build just keeps getting weirder. He's sort of like even lankier than Gunther is, and Gunther lost a lot of weight to get there. Like Dijak needed to put like 40, 50 pounds on that frame, and it actually looked like he's thinner. So his head looks gigantic, and his body looks like his torso looks sort of emaciated. His legs look normal. I don't know. He's all right. He's talented, but I mean, his character is sort of boring. Like anyone can play like the bad I think I'm a cop character. He broke his fingers pretty righteously in this one. My main issue with this is that Wesley did like this amazing like triple corkscrew dive, which wasn't the finish, and I really don't understand the Tony D stacks thing. I mean, I do
what's
understand
up with that? They shoved Lee out of the way and Donovan moonsaults into them instead.
Yeah, like what do they? I mean, I know it was more about Dijak, sort of interfering in their territory, though I'm not really sure exactly how he's been doing that. Not wanting to do business with them, whatever business is in NXT for the mob, a mob of two. But anyway, it was all right. When I saw it, when they reversed the camera angle, it made a lot more sense, because when I was watching it live, it just looked like all of a sudden they were there and they took the fall. It didn't look like they shoved Wesley, pushed his chair out of the way, which they did, which made more sense. I wish we had that angle going in, but that I thought was a little bit silly. But that's NXT. They like to sort of try to protect everybody when possible and to transition to another full feud, even though that one was sort of brimming. Anyway. Dijak to me is washed. I'm not, I don't
get rid of him.
Yeah, or he can just be a jobber, but like taking up so much camera time and doing this, sort of Cobra, evil Judge Dredd thing is,
Judge Dredd.
It's not working for me. But Wesley, I think, looked great, and Wesley retained. I thought he would retain, and he did, and that's terrific. I think he's killing it.
Well, I was going to ask you, do you think he's obviously he's excelling in the single role, but do you think it's actually better off that he's not in the tag team anymore?
I don't know. They were a damn good tag team, but
they were. That's why I'm asking that question. So,
but they're really small, and WWE really
little rascals, baby.
Yeah, I mean they're smaller than Legato, and Legato is really small. I mean, you see how these call-ups from NXT, they just don't look the part when they get to the main roster. Like even like Ashante the Adonis, and even to a lesser extent Santos and Imperium, they just look smaller than the other guys. and it's and those guys were even tinier. So I think not. I mean, again, I think that Wesley has that potential to be like your version of a Rey Mysterio. I'm not saying he's going to be legendary around the world and all that. Obviously, he wasn't a legend by 19 because he's already older than that. But to be that consummate baby face that everybody likes, that's fighting from underneath, that never gives up, and you believe he can win because that's just this kind of spirit he has, and he's got the skill and the moveset. And and now that they've got Ricochet with Braun, he's not really taking away from anyone else's spot.
He kind of does remind me of Ricochet a lot, but better, in my opinion. A bit more personality. I don't know.
Much more personal. His natural personality is so much more likable. Ricochet is... I don't know what his natural personality... listen, the guy has a history of pulling beautiful women, including right now. Yeah, we know that. Maybe you should try the thumb. You see the women he's pulling?
I know, fucking cunt.
Yeah, if maybe you just shouldn't mock what you don't understand. Don't knock it till you try it. It's worked out pretty well for him.
God damn it. Shout out to Puma.
Yes, exactly. But I'm sort of got that. I mean, it's even worse than Drew McIntyre, but he's got that Drew McIntyre thing where he sort of sounds robotic.
Yeah, I just can't take him that serious, but I think Wesley can be a better version of Ricochet in terms of personality.
Wesley sounds normal when he talks. It sounds like he's a real person.
Well, yeah, exactly. And Ricochet really sucks when it comes to mic work. He just does.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Like you said, he's very monotone, very robotic.
Yeah.
Yeah, screw you, Ricochet. But anyway, great worker, no doubt about it. But it is what it is. I prefer Wesley. Anyway, Wesley does win by pinfall with a back handspring Pele kick, retaining his NXT North American Championship. After that, though, we go to the back as we get a Cora Jade hype reel and an ad for WWE 2K23.
By the way, did you wish Morgan Fairchild a happy birthday?
No, I didn't actually, Jeff.
Yeah.
I forgot, to be fair. But anyway, we also get footage of Bron Breakker and Grayson Waller arriving at the arena. And we also get Katana Chance and Caden Carter interviewed backstage. They go on to say they don't care about Fallon Henley and Kiana James' personal drama. They're just going to do what they do best and win. And anything to say about this little...
tag team, the best friends we got. I mean, they've been saying the same thing for 2 years now. They're cute. That. They're also teeny tiny. The thing that I thought was really funny is they made a big deal about how Grayson Waller and Bron Breakker were in different hotels. They couldn't talk. They were keeping them separate.
Radio.
And during the Charlotte thing, you see them right next to each other. Her in between them. I mean, come on.
Fucking silly. That's just NXT silliness, man, if you know what I mean.
I mean, maybe it was special effects. We were supposed to believe it was a green screen or something. But come on. I mean, they're all right there. Right there.
Sometimes they really do insult your intelligence. That's why usually I give shit about watching NXT, but at least this PLE was in the Carolinas in an actual arena away from the from the Performance Center.
No,
but anyway,
they had over 5,000 people there. That place was packed. It didn't seem that loud, but it was packed. I'm just saying. Listen, every time people think that things are elaborate works, I remind you of things like this. These people are not that smart.
Well, you said it. Well, anyway, let's go on to the next match, though, Jeff. It is Fallon Henley and Kiana James versus Katana Chance and Caden Carter for the NXT. Yeah, for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship. Caden, or the KKs, are the NXT Women's Champions. This was all right. I mean, to me, it was probably the shittest match of the night. But surprisingly, though, Fallon Henley and Kiana James win by pinfall with a Gato clutch and some skullduggery, should I say, becoming your new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions.
I can't believe you think this was the shittiest match. I think this match was great. I loved every part of it. I think the moves were great. I think they all worked together really well. And I love the whole thing that Fallon doesn't really trust Kiana. She probably really shouldn't. Kiana definitely wants to cheat. Fallon doesn't want to cheat. And she didn't realize that Kiana cheated for her. And this is great. K&K Dance Factory never really felt like champions, even though they've reminded us a million times that they have the longest reigning women's tag team champions in NXT history, which is, I guess 30 months old, these belts. But, nevertheless, they are good for them. Terrific. It just never really felt like it. But I guess time flies when you're having fun. Good for them. I don't know what kind of future they have on the main roster because they're sort of teeny tiny by NXT standards, which means they're going to be really teeny tiny by main roster standards. Like even the women, like I think they're like teeny tiny next to like Io Shirai.
Yeah, they're tiny, dude. I can't stand. Is it Kaden Carter?
I don't know.
The one that was with Ricochet.
No, that's Katana Chance.
Is that Katana Chance?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, her name is Casey Cataranzo or something.
Yeah, that's it. That's how I knew her. That's what she used to use that name.
She's the white one. It was on like American.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's true. I can't stand her. She's like Ricochet, dude.
Yeah, she's a tiny little thing. Her talking stinks too. She's almost like a robot. I like Kaden Carter. I think she's got personality and I think she's a really good wrestler. I think she's great looking. I think she's sexy. She's got cakes that people like these days. I just think that she's too small for the game. Well, I mean, but not for. I mean, she could be in NXT forever. She can have a beautiful another 10-year career, in NXT and whatever max out or whatever their max 120 a year or whatever, and then do some indies after that and ride the circuit. And she's a good talker. Maybe she could parlay that into a backstage role or a commentary or something. Who knows? She's very likable.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, shit.
No.
You know what I mean? I mean, good on her. Whatever she does anyway in the future.
Perfect. I mean, they're both super athletic. I just think that Kaden is
small.
Well, they're both too small, but I think Kaden is the much better wrestler, much more precise than Katana is.
I can't stand either one of them personally, but
you hate women.
Just don't put words in my mouth. That's you, not me.
I love
that. But next, speaking of hate though, I can't stand this guy. It's a JD McDonough hype reel. I hate this guy, dude. For real.
We didn't have that.
That's what it says here.
I didn't see that. Or I went to the bathroom.
You must have missed it. You must have gone to the bathroom. And then we get a Nikita Lyons vignette. Did you see that?
No.
Well, you must have had a bathroom break. Because she goes on to say...
I a bathroom break, I assure you. No, we just got... I mean, basically we got the pre-show again, just divided by which match was coming next.
Well, this is not the pre-show, but anyway, the Nikita Lyons
vignette... I'm telling you, I watched the pre-show because I'm an idiot. And it was the same thing. It's just this whatever the pre-show segment was about each individual match they put before the individual matches again, just without Sam Roberts and the other guy talking.
Strange. Well, here she goes on to say about how patience is overrated, and also she's a lion.
Well, she better be patient. She just had like double surgery on her knee. It's like the second one in a year.
And I wonder why. They're gonna tell her to lose weight, man.
Well,
let's be honest. I mean, I mean, she looks great the way she is.
Sure,
but if she wants to,
she
save
has a
her
high
knees,
impact style, and
right,
and not everyone's knees hold up to that. I mean, that's it's nothing wrong with it. I mean, she's a big girl, but she carries it in a good way. But
absolutely. But, well, speaking of though,
hopefully she'll heal. Maybe she'll get. Maybe her knees will be reconstructed stronger. I mean,
maybe.
Tegan Knox is still wrestling somehow, but she's a sprite.
After 4, yeah, she sucks though, man.
Chris Statlander, the jury is still out.
She's done. I feel like almost at this point, she should have been back a long time ago.
She wasn't. Well, maybe she was. I mean, it barely took 10 weeks before she was out again. So
yeah. Well, we also get an Instagram promo of Drew Gulak explaining to Hank Walker how to handle high flyers and demanding he get himself some proper ring gear because he's building a superstar, not a house.
Okay. Hank Walker can get the fuck out. And by the way, Drew Gulak can get the fuck out also.
I agree 100%. 100. I can't stand either one of them.
Yeah, I mean, this whole thing, I mean, 2 zeros. I do not know why they're investing so much in this Hank Walker. This whole, I don't know what their obsession is with the everyman. They have Kevin Owens. They have Sami Zayn. They have them both under contract. Everymen are easy to find. Stars are hard to find. And he's not an everyman that's like full of charisma. And this is not 1983. You're not going to find a guy that looks like Dusty Rhodes and
Nah, not
have people
anymore.
love him. And
Right.
this guy's has nowhere near the charisma or talent that does. I mean, Dusty Rhodes is one of the top 10 talkers of all time.
100% agree with you, man. There's no doubt about that. Oh, well, there was also a Lyra Valkyria promo, but who
That I
cares
saw.
about that?
That
You saw
I saw.
that?
Yeah.
Anything to say?
No, I mean, Lyra Valkyria, when she was first coming out, I'm like, why are they bringing another British chick? I mean,
They've got a
another
lot of
UK.
British, I mean, they really do.
I mean, I just feel like they have too many women already, and why are they bringing in more? And then they brought in Stevie Turner, whatever her name is, so for yet even more. So I just feel like, why are you cluttering things up? And then I saw wrestling. I'm like, she's fine, she's okay, but I don't feel like she has like a very strong character or that she adds a lot. And every time I see her, I have to think and go, "Oh yeah, that's Lyra Valkyria or whatever." I'm like, so no, I'm not particularly impressed by her. I mean, I think she's a fine ensemble player, I guess. I mean, I do hear that there's a lot of call-ups coming after WrestleMania this year.
Do we need it? Other than, say, Carmelo Hayes and maybe Bron Breakker?
Well, I don't think Carmelo Hayes is the one who's being called up. I think he's going to be the NXT champion. I think he's going to have another 6 months or a year to wait.
He's so ready, man.
Because he's absolutely ready. I don't know. All I care about is that the Sangha Maniacs come up. I'm not really particularly concerned about anyone. Unless there's like 25 releases of the main roster, which I
doubt it.
I'll make that list. I'm happy to do it, and that list will.
Oh, please do. You know what? I would love for you to do that on our next show, man.
I'd be happy to, and the list will start with a bunch of some of the ones who are on NXT right now, because there's a reason that they shoved them back down there to do nothing for the rate. But even the New Day did nothing for the ratings, which is
I mean, it's cool. Don't get me wrong, to see him to see any main roster star on the developmental sort of NXT, but still, it does nothing really for them.
Depends who it is. I mean, when it's like Dijak and like Baba Tunde, or Apollo Crews, it's just like, and Drew Gulak, you just know it's like they have nothing else for them. They're like, you think you can do something down there, or you better do something down there. And I don't think there was any accident why these guys were all on the show, because they were in front of a big live crowd, and they wanted people who were used to being in front of big live crowds and were on the main roster and were unlikely to botch and hurt themselves or anyone else. Of course, Apollo Crews did botch once, but they recovered from it.
And shout outs to all our listeners and viewers right now. I mean, I'm surprised we've got some. I mean, geez. Because it's from the PWC discussion group. So shout outs to everybody there. Let's go to the next matchup, though, Jeff, because it's
not 4:30 a.m. everywhere.
I know. Maybe we do. Our biggest listener base, funny enough, in the States is from the West Coast.
Well, there you go. It's a very reasonable 1:39 there.
Right.
We also have a lot of listeners in the UK. We have a lot of listeners in
Canada,
your neck of the woods, Australia. Well, Canada.
Australia's number 2. Australia's number 2 for our listener base. First,
Canada is basically the same time zones as the US, so
it is.
I'm really talking more time zones than countries. But yeah, I mean, we're very big in Russia.
We still are.
Yeah, we have people in Romania. We've got people in
everywhere.
UAE,
Cayman Islands, Saudi Arabia, even, Jeff.
Yeah. It was also, was it Thailand or Singapore? I think
Singapore, yes. China, yes. Believe it or not, I don't know how.
We're not big in Japan. I don't know why. You love Japan.
Yeah, strange. Well, not enough New Japan content, but I noticed when
fuck you Japan in Japanese.
I don't know, but you know what? We're also ranked in the States right now too. Once again,
well, we should be.
We're ranked in the States. We're ranked in Canada. We're ranked in Australia, and we're ranked in Russia.
Well, I mean, ranked what? I mean,
in Russia, you talking about?
No, I'm talking about the States.
In the States, we are 120 right now.
And how high did these rankings go?
Top 500, I think.
Okay, all right. Well, 120. That's the top 25%. That's not bad.
Absolutely. In Canada, we are ranked right now at 50.
Ooh.
Yeah. And in Australia, we're ranked 80. We've been much higher, though.
Come on, man. You're slacking.
I know, man.
I
Down
mean,
18.
if you just got like 7 of your friends to listen, we'd be like 61.
And in Russia, for the third week in a row, we are ranked in the top 20.
I don't know what to say.
That's weird, dude. It's straight up weird.
I mean,
Russia. I mean, seriously. What the hell?
I mean, I hope some of you are oligarchs that this can
I
benefit you in some way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well,
Everybody has a price, including us.
yeah, mine is very low.
Bullshit. Anyway, but yeah, so thank you to everybody around the world that's listening, because it means
Speaking of Russia,
the world.
Canadian Leopard tanks are on their way to Ukraine, and Portugal pledges tanks. France and Italy promise air defenses. Wow!
And we're making the bullets.
Oh, good job.
I kid you not, look it up.
Good job,
I don't know why. We're the bullet makers. Shouldn't it be you guys?
I don't know. Of this current NXT class, not much to watch for going into WrestleMania. I wouldn't expect there to be any NXT people in WrestleMania, but they're going to have a big show at Stand to Deliver. So,
well, we got a comment actually for the evening.
that was the comment. Yeah.
Oh, you read it. Oh, good stuff. And that was Chris Millen. Man, what time is it for you, bro? You still up too?
Isn't he from your country?
No, he's from your. Well, when I say your neck of the woods, I'm talking about the US, not Australia. No, I'm surprised we still got American listeners and viewers. Crazy. But anyway, let's go to the next match though, Jeff. It is Apollo Crews versus Carmelo Hayes in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Man, straight up, I'd give this, if I had to rate this match, I'd give it a -A. But Hayes ends up winning.
A -A?
Yes, a -A. About that. That's how highly I thought this match was. It was pretty good.
I mean, is that how you grade it in Australia? Like we call it A- here.
Well, you can say it either way. It doesn't really matter.
Well, here you can't say it either way. I mean, nobody knows
why not?
what you're talking about -A.
Oh, come on. You knew exactly what I was talking about.
No, I really didn't. I mean, I guess because I speak Jimmy. But
oh man, you know what? I don't even use usually letters. I use a 1 to 10 sort of thing. But if I had to grade the match, all right, look, I wouldn't say it's a 5-star match, because see, if I was to do it in a star rating, but I'd give it a 4-star.
See, this match bored the shit out of me. I felt it lacked energy. For two guys who were supposed to go fast and furious, neither one of them went fast and furious. And I was really distracted by, in certain light, Apollo Crews looked like he was wearing like reddish contact lenses. And that was really bugging me, because other times it looked like his eyes were regular. And
I never noticed that. It could have been the what do you call it? The reflection.
It could have been, but I've seen him enough to know. I mean, his eyes he's got dark brown eyes, and this was like, it was like distinctly red in sunlight. It was very light, and I'm not surprised if he did that, because his gimmick is he sees the visions. I mean, obviously they're not very good visions, but I mean. Anyway, this match really disappointed me. Thankfully, it was 2-0, and the surprise is that Babatunde, who originally was Babatunde, then was Commander Aziz, came out. It looked like he was there to stop Trick Williams and to help Apollo Crews, and in fact, I guess he sort of did, but the distraction of Babatunde being there opened the door for Carmelo to shoot his shot and not miss, and win the second fall in a row. Actually, first time it was by a count out. It was actually a pretty good sequence of Carmelo Hayes like going for move after move after move. It was almost like Bryan Danielson. He went for like front face lock. Yeah,
that's why I liked the match, because it was different, especially from Carmelo Hayes. And the first fall, like you said, he won by submission with an arm trap crossface going 1 zip, and then for the second fall he wins by pinfall with nothing but net, going 2-0 and sweeping Apollo Crews.
Yeah, well, I say I didn't like the match. It's not like the match had nothing going for it. I mean, there were sequences that were good for a match. People were saying this would be a show stealer, and for a match that should have been a lot of fun, I just thought it was sort of plodding. So again, thankfully it was 2-zip, and spoiler-ish. Babatunde then turned on Apollo Crews, who was surprised. I don't know why I was surprised. He was out of uniform. He wasn't wearing his Salvation Army jacket. And Babatunde, for a guy who's been off TV screens for like close to a year and a half, he looked like he's been on that AEW exercise program. I mean, he looked smaller. All he did this
Commander Aziz, isn't that the formal Commander Aziz?
Yeah, it's the former Commander Aziz. He was a Raw Underground steady also as Babatunde, but he's like in worse shape, which is weird. All he managed to do was grow some facial hair and I guess get his head crest thicker.
Well, he choke bombed him on the chair, and I mean, he choke bombed Apollo on the chair post match. But whatever. I don't care for this guy, man. Just get rid of him already. And even Apollo Crews, I'm great worker, but look at him. Like, what is he? Yeah, he's big, but he's small big.
He's a good worker, but yeah, he's small big. He's better than like Tony Nese, but he's
much better than Nese, but
actually
still.
Tony Nese at least works fast usually. I mean, I
He
don't
work different styles, but he's just got no personality.
Yeah, I don't know who decided the tempo of this match. I mean, obviously they didn't end at 11, so it wouldn't have killed them to instead of ending at 10:49 to have ended 10:37.
Well, yeah, and also the fact that Hayes won 2-zip, does this kill off Apollo Crews right now at this point?
Well, sort of. I mean, but the distraction sort of is a protection. Anyway, he's in the Insta feud with his former henchman. So, I mean, I guess the answer is no. But I don't know what this leads to. I mean, I guess.
And do we even care?
Not really. I mean, the only reason I would care is if they actually did bring up both Braun Breaker and Carmelo, and so they decided that they didn't want the NXT World Title to be, on the main roster also. And, I mean, sort of like a safe guy to put it on for like a short term would be Apollo Crews. So he's got to win this feud, but he's only got 2 months to do it to get back into that position. But I don't see that as the scenario. And even if it is, so what?
Well, we also get after that match, we get a social media promo about Valentina Feroz accepting Laura Valkyria's challenge with Wendy Chu to be in her corner. Whoopity whoop. Yeah.
How about this?
I know. Backstage, the new women's tag champs are celebrating with Briggs and Jensen and agree to go drinking.
Yeah, but you forget that Elektra Lopez came up and said, was basically scoffing at Valentina for continuing to do things the nice guy route. Basically the same story as Fallon and Kiana.
Yeah, I didn't really care much about it, but yeah, it is what it is.
And she was wearing, I believe, a Chanel belt, or was it a Gucci belt?
I think it's a Gucci belt, dude.
Were they G's or were they C's?
I'm pretty sure they're G's.
All right.
But anyway, we also get a Black History Month video package featuring the New Day, which is cool.
Sure. But they only talked about Kofi's title. They didn't talk about Big E's title, which I thought was odd.
I've got a feeling Big E will be back any day now. And when I say any day, I think, and remember I said this, he'll be back at the Raw after Mania.
I think that Big E told us what his situation is, and they said they're going to reevaluate him in March. So, I mean, he had a broken neck. I think that people were predicting him in the Rumble and things like that. I think you'll need to hold your horses.
Well, I mean, hey, March, Raw, the Raw after Mania is in April.
The reevaluation was for further treatment, not to get into a wrestling ring.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Because now he's traveling, he's doing promo work for WWE. He was here in Australia like last week with the New Day.
That's not landing on your head.
Well, yeah, that's true too. But anyway, next we get Chase U in Andre Chase and fucking get off my TV screen, Duke Hudson versus Gallus in Mark Coffey and Wolfgang versus New Day in Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, who are your champions, versus Pretty Deadly in Elton Prince and Kit Wilson for the NXT Tag Team Championships. I actually like this match. I'm surprised with the winners though.
First of all, this match was fantastic, and I want to shout out to Booker T. because he was hysterical all night on commentary. I can't believe I forget this. But right in the beginning of the match, when they had Jensen and the Briggs and Jensen in the corner of Fallon and Kiana, there's this story of Kiana and Jensen. Are they a couple? It seems like they are, but it's like Vic kept saying that Cade and Carter friend zoned Jensen months ago, and now it seems like she's toying with him. And Booker's like, "What? What's going on? You said they hooked up." He's like, "I did not say they hooked up." He's like, "Sally, you said they hooked up." I never said that. I said friend zone. He's like, "Okay, I'm just making sure. Just want to know who's hooking up." I mean,
he's such a gossip queen, though, dude. Like, he comes across like a gossip queen on NXT.
But during this match, he was like, he hates the New Day, and he's like, there's a guy in the front row that looks just like Xavier Woods. I think they should replace him with it. And he's like, and I hate Kofi Kingston. He's what do you say, 15-time champion? I hate that guy. He's terrible. It's hysterical.
Why is he playing into that, you think?
Well, I think it's because that Booker had maybe 14 title reigns.
I thought he had more than 20-something overall.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he did. But anyway, Gallus ended up winning by pinfall with the Enziguri body slam combination on Xavier Woods, becoming your new NXT Tag Team Champions. Are you happy with Gallus winning? I can't understand them personally, but yeah, it is what it is.
I am happy because I picked them, and I'm like one of 2 people in the world I know that picked them to win. Like, everyone was counting them out. And I picked them because I figured that the whole point of this match was to protect the New Day in a loss and get them back, to the main roster. Not that I think the main roster needs them at this particular time.
And they didn't protect them, really.
Yeah. And I figured that Chase University was there to take the pin, which is not what happened. And I figured, and I thought that when Booker kept talking about how much he loved what the Pretty Deadly was wearing, they were wearing black, gold, and white.
Yeah.
So
that was funny, man. Pretty Deadly should be thrown up to the main roster, man. I think they're ready.
Yeah, they're definitely ready. But I think that I figured that New Day and they were basically there to cancel each other out. Anyways, so my logic was wrong, but I figured that the only team that actually really needed the belts that they would want to invest in would be Gallus. Because, I mean, Chase U, it's just another mismatched tag team that's going to break up sooner rather than later. So I figured that they weren't going to do that twice. So.
But it works for whatever reason, man.
It works, but it's wrestle crap comedy works.
It is. It is wrestle crap, no doubt about it. But I don't know why. I kind of don't mind it. I just can't stand Duke Hudson.
Well, that's hard because he's 1/3 of the act.
And he suits it, don't get me wrong. But, like, I don't know, man. And you say I love all of Shane wrestlers. Please.
Yeah,
give
he's
me a
on
break.
your list. He's number 10.
Have you noticed now, WWE's actually, speaking of international wrestlers and whatnot, and you mentioned the British wrestlers earlier, WWE seems to sort of emphasize getting a lot of talent from the UK and Australia right now, oddly enough. Do you think there's any particular reason why they're branching out down here and across the pond in the UK?
Well, I think the UK, I think NXT UK exposed them to a lot of...
Oh, well, yes. That's true.
I mean, so they had a lot of people under their payroll or, doing enhancement work and do indie shows and, so a lot of references there. I think also, British strong style has its kind of respect that's similar to Japanese strong style. So if AEW has its Japanese style, then WWE has its British style. I mean, I think that's part of it, but I think most of it's just familiarity and they speak the same language, but it's not exactly the same. It's
the same language. Come on, dude.
No, but there's accents and listen. You're always saying you can't understand what the Scots are saying. I can't understand what Irish people are saying.
Fair enough.
So it's the same language, but it's it's very different cultures.
Definitely.
As far as Australia, I think that they have just plucked some of the like bigger athletes from Australia and decide to train.
They have. You're right. No, that's exactly what they've done.
Like Australians, right. I think naturally Australians are less uptight and more irreverent than Americans and Canadians are, and
I absolutely agree.
I mean, I think you guys are just like, shut up, we don't care about your political.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
You're spot on, man.
and that sort of has its own sort of charm or heat. It can work
It can
both
get
ways.
you
So,
heat. Definitely can get you heat. That's
I
true.
mean, except for Buddy Matthews, who, despite looking like the real deal,
He's got no personality though, man. Really.
I mean, that should be his act. His gimmick should be that he's the Terminator, that he's a robot.
God.
Like, remember when Cage
Come
was like,
on.
"I'm a machine" in Lucha
Yeah.
Underground? Like, that's
Yeah.
like Buddy Matthews should steal that gimmick.
That worked for Cage though. It just suited him for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying?
Everything
it
in
just,
Lucha Underground worked. It was a comic.
yeah, it's strange. It was great though. I remember when I first started watching Lucha Underground, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, I'm gonna so hate this, right?
Mm-hmm.
To my surprise, the first episode I didn't really think too much of it. By the second and third, I was hooked, dude.
I love Lucha Underground. But
And I was like, what the
Buddy
fuck?
Matthews should take terminology from like sci-fi movie. Like, he should call his body a sleeve, and he should be like AI Buddy Matthews.
AI
Buddy
Buddy
He
Matthews.
should change
Wow.
his name to Hal, like from 2001. And like, if people say, "I'm gonna beat you next week," and he goes, "I'm sorry, David. I can't allow you to do that."
Oh, come on. But like a full robot though. Like,
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, David.
And,
yeah, like,
I'm unfortunately Kenny Omega won't be able to do.
well, he's the Terminator supposedly, but yeah.
He'll have to do it.
But everybody loves Buddy Murphy for whatever reason. I know, I get it. He looks great. He's a great friggin' wrestler, but he's got no damn personality. Never has. But to be fair, have they really tried with him, like to give him sort of personality?
It's 3 promotions now, and 4 if you count NXT, who really didn't have any idea what to do with him except stick him with, Alice.
That worked though. Oh well, yeah, that's true too. But that works too, and because it's a continuation of the story from his WWE days.
The most
with
interesting thing
Alistair
was when he
Black.
was with Aaliyah Mysterio,
Yeah, that was weird too, man. At
and that was
time.
weird because she's like 4.
Yeah, I felt for him, dude.
She's like 19, 17, something like that.
Yeah, do you remember the memes, dude? It was almost like he was borderline pedo, dude.
Yeah, well, that it was borderline pedo, and
But that's not his fault, damn it.
well, no, he wrote it in, but he's also not that young a guy. Like, isn't he like 30-ish?
You know what? Good question. I wanna find out. He's not in his 20s anymore, is he?
I don't think so. And I mean, she might be 22 now, and this was 3 years ago.
He is. Let's just see right now. He's probably 30, like you said.
I'm gonna guess
30, 32, 34, dude. Wow.
34. So even older. So he was probably like double her age at the time, which is creepy. Not for Vince. I mean, for Vince, that's like
That's so Vince anyway.
I mean, that's ridiculous. That's too old.
Well, you know what? I mean, let's be honest. Wrestlers are they're getting older now compared to back in the day. Think about it. 34, you're pretty much done. Back in the day, honestly, when you even in sports, you know what I'm saying. So,
You still sort of are in regular sports. I mean,
speaking of Aussies,
oh, yeah.
what's up, Malakas? What up, Pierce? What
going
a
on,
character.
Look at
Well,
that.
yeah, now we've got the Aussies in the house.
There we go.
But that threw me off completely. But anyway, yeah, Buddy, first of all, change that name. Buddy is just so too Australian. No offense to my fellow Aussies, but you get my drift.
Buddy's the name of a dog or
A
like
dog.
Like an old man who's driven trucks for the company for 60 years.
Yeah, and it's insulting anyway. Like, hey, buddy. Like, do you know what I mean? It just
Like the Night
I don't know.
Watchman is Buddy.
Yeah, well, yeah, just change that shit. Take the Buddy out. I don't know, man. Maybe just Murphy for now.
Anyway, Gallus beats
Yes.
pins Xavier Woods, and this year new NXT Tag Team Champions, all because of Buddy Murphy Matthews.
Yeah. Anyway, next we get speaking of Aussies, we get a replay of the close analysis of the parking lot footage from the attack on Nikita Lyons. But next we see Grayson Waller shadowboxing backstage ahead of our main event. Come on, Grayson is the man right now, even though unfortunately he didn't win, but we'll get to that. I'm loving Grayson, man. He's just such a cocky, like, foul mouth. Like, I don't know, man. I still think he's got a lot of potential. I know you're not his biggest fan, but I like him.
Put on some weight, man.
That's true too. He needs to bulk up for sure. I can see him on the main roster very soon, though. I think he's pretty much ready too.
I don't know. They have Logan Paul, who, by the way, is bulkier.
Much bulkier, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Anyway, next we have Gigi Dolan versus JC Jane versus Roxanne Perez for your NXT Women's Championship. This match was alright. I mean,
It was
not
excellent.
my favorite,
It was
but it was
exactly what was
alright.
supposed to happen. It was exactly perfect. Toxic Attraction were on the same page. Then that started to fall apart. Then they realized they needed to work with each other, but it was a trick. And Roxanne just stuck in the match, stuck with it, waited for them to really implode, and took advantage of the moment and won the match. I mean, it was great, and the interaction between JC Jane and Gigi was great. The crowd was probably more behind Gigi than they were Roxanne, which
Of
is,
course they are.
I guess, I don't know. I mean,
They
look,
both complement each other, though, Jeff. I think they're perfect for each other.
I've never been a JC Jane fan, but the last 2 weeks
She's growing on me.
The last 2
Yeah.
weeks she's been looking smoking.
She has. You know what it is? She's putting more effort in her sort of character, if you want, and that. I mean, everything. She used to look like a jobber not too long ago, dude, when you think about it. And now she's just transformed. I don't know what happened, but it's working. It could be the cleavage. I mean,
The cleavage.
shit.
She's working that cleavage. She's disaccentuating the Mediterranean nose that she's got there. And she stopped wearing that stupid hat.
The Mediterranean nose. What are you trying to say? She's got a big nose?
Yeah, she looks like one of my people.
Mediterranean nose. God damn it, Jeff.
It looks like one of your people.
I knew you were going to say that. I've got a Mediterranean nose, you prick. So do you,
Well, that's
actually.
just your Mediterranean. You're
yeah.
constantly reminding us.
Well,
You're the
technically,
all
you're
Mediterranean
Mediterranean.
champion.
Oh, man. If AEW have an all-Mediterranean championship...
We'd have the flag of New Zealand, Cambodia, Philippines,
Oh, no.
Chile,
Chile. Nowhere near the Mediterranean. Jesus.
and the Aleutian Islands. Those would be the four flags you pick for that one.
Oh, my eyes are watery, man.
So
That's
fucking stupid.
Fuck me. That's a good one, Jeff. That the all Mediterranean championship without any Mediterranean
Not a
countries.
single one.
Wow.
He would confuse the Baltics for the Balkans.
The Baltics for the Balkans. Oh no, dude. Shit. That's when we get the all Balkans championship.
Slovakia. Just put them both on there.
It wouldn't surprise me, man. I mean, shit. Hey, speaking of the all
Mediterranean, no, I think that's Australia. Put them both on.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Australia definitely in the
both on.
Mediterranean.
Sounds good.
You know, speaking of all Atlantic and all Mediterranean and whatnot, what's happened to the All Atlantic Championship? Has that suddenly disappeared on AEW television?
This is not the championship. I mean,
Yeah,
my
but
guess.
I forgot
would be-
already.
I mean, two guesses. One is that Orange Cassidy is hurt and they don't want to disclose it, so they're not
Maybe.
mentioning it. The other is that he's one of probably the 30 AEW people on the Jericho Cruise.
And where's Pac? I mean, honestly.
Where are the Lucha Brothers? I mean,
True. I don't miss them, but
listen,
Pac is real noticeable to me.
I heard that they went on walkabout. They're all very sad. They're going to sweat lodges. They're taking some magic mushrooms, some ayahuasca.
Can you imagine them three?
Yeah,
Are you kidding?
they're going to see where things went wrong. Was it the Timekeeper Hammer? Wasn't it the Timekeeper Hammer? I mean, do you realize every day I've been posting on Twitter, identify AEW wrestler that you forgot worked for AEW. And
I did see that actually.
now,
I did.
one of them was getting like a strange amount of likes and retweets, but only one, like the one from Mercedes Martinez. So people must really like her. It's like Thunder Rosa, Aaron Solo, Abaddon. Nobody cares about those.
Nobody cares. And
But
speaking
people are
of,
responding. They're responding with Miro. They're responding with Brian Pillman, even though he was just on. They're responding with Andrade, obviously. Scorpio
well, he's
Sky.
injured possibly. Scorpio Sky is done. I agree with you now.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, and speaking of someone that's fallen from grace, look at
Agogo.
Thunder Rosa, man.
That's
Sorry,
good.
who?
Agogo, Anthony Agogo, people.
Oh, I forgot.
Right.
Really, go back to
That's the
boxing,
point.
bro.
Identify a wrestler that works for AW that you forgot
Agogo.
about. I mean, you could literally do this all day. I mean, so I just try and do one a day, and I used to just do it like once a week, but now I'm like, I'll do it every day.
I mean, and if you notice now, there's been a lot of silent releases. You know what I mean? Like Kazarian, for example.
Well, that was one of my predictions from last year on Hammerlock Hangover, and I said that probably continued to be these. I don't know if they're silent release. I think that he's just silently keeping people under contract and just paying them to do nothing. I mean, Kazarian wasn't even that silent because Kazarian, like he stated that, like he went on publicly. He said, "I wasn't doing what I wanted to do, so I negotiated my release and I signed with him." I mean, somebody chose Impact.
Apparently, he's got a lot of history. I know he does, right? But that's the old Impact, really. The TNA. It's starting to feel like two different companies to me.
They still pay what Impact pays, so you have to imagine what he was getting paid with AEW.
And back even in TNA, when Impact was TNA, I mean, surely the money was higher then than it is now.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
100%. Well, anyway, I just wanted to waste a bit of time there, Jeff, where we spoke about other things, because we've only got one more match to go. And anyway, but like we were saying, Roxanne Perez wins by pinfall with an avalanche pop
Did
rocks.
you notice that she was wearing like the Burberry print, just different colors?
She kind of does always do that now that I have noticed that.
Maybe she's better than somebody and he knows it. I don't know. Maybe she's like, I'm the
Burberry.
real prodigy. You think you're the generational talent? I'm Loki, the generational talent.
No, but you're right. But really, she's been wearing that, like that style for quite a while now.
By the way, speaking of that, Dave Foley from Kids in the Hall, and he was in the show News Radio, he posted today that his hair thinks... He posted a picture, so he said, my hair thinks it's better than me. So I posted a gif of MJF going, I'm better than you, and you know it, and he liked it. I've had a fair amount of celebrity interaction. I mean, Heather Thomas a couple of times.
Look at you.
Morgan Fairchild, of course. David Foley. Danielle Camella. Of course.
I love how you downplay it too, because I've seen photos of you on your own personal Facebook page of you hanging out with producers, directors, mingling with Hollywood. I mean, come on, Jeff.
I've had a fair amount of like oddly successful people in my circle, which that perhaps I am as well. Believe me, the guy who was on my podcast 3 times, who told me he was going to do the show with me on Rust and like call out Alec Baldwin and bring a props person on.
Oh shit.
No,
he didn't
like
just
a
say
year,
that.
And he keeps blowing me off. I mean, he goes, yeah, I'm all talk. I don't follow anything.
Speaking of Alec Baldwin, our version of 60 Minutes, the Australian version, which is one of the actual most popular ones in the world,
really?
Including the American, the American and Australian ones. Actually, the two main 60 Minutes. I think we're the only ones that do 60 Minutes anyway. To be fair. Anyway. So our version of 60 Minutes is interviewing all the people and showing footage of how Alec Baldwin shot the director, I think it was.
I think it was the director or the cinematographer or both.
Cinematographers.
I think the bullet went through one and into another.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I think it killed the
cinematographer, I think.
Yeah. It was a woman. I think it went through her and into I think the assistant director or something behind her.
Shit. How does that even happen, dude? I mean, is there something suspicious with that?
Yeah, he's been criminally charged. So yes, it's something.
I know,
suspicious.
but do you think who would be to blame here? Did Alec Baldwin know something?
Well, that's what my friend was supposed to tell me about. But he said that they were cutting corners on that and that they were not following industry standards. That said, I didn't know they used live ammunition in movies. I thought they used blanks. And I know you can die from blanks. I remember that Brandon Lee died from a blank.
Was that a blank?
It was a blank. I mean, I know that the myth was that he was killed just like his father was by the
Illuminati. It was the Illuminati, dude.
Yeah, the Tons, the Chinese
the Tons, the mafia, yeah.
Right, yeah.
They're big time, the Tongs, man.
So I've heard.
Yeah, no, they really are, dude. They
I know
really
they
are.
killed
You
Uncle
don't,
in the man shoes. I know all about it. That's why the
you don't
Shaolin
fuck with
monks
the
had
tongues, man.
yeah, that's why they had to go through the quest and find the Monkey King. I know. Shen Yu Kong. I
Great.
know.
That's awesome too, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Um, I'm the best. I know. I'm amazing. But where were we? I can't remember.
We're up to the main event.
No. I mean, in our nonsense.
The tongues, but I forgot what we were up to.
The Rust. So
that's it.
I think it's going to be tough to prove criminal culpability, but the interesting thing is he's the producer, not just the actor. So on the producer, there might be some sort of criminal negligence thing. But he claims that somebody yelled cold to him, and the armorer apparently has a spotty history. So civilly, I think there's plenty of negligence and negligence hiring, negligent supervision. But there's insurance. Like criminally, I don't know. More is going to need to come out, but I don't know.
It's tricky. It's a tricky situation.
Yeah, people are not supposed to get shot to death on movie sets.
No, it's what a waste of life. I mean, seriously. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens with that, but I am intrigued.
My friend Mark Hamill, if you're listening, Mark with a C, not a K, because there's a Mark Hamill in Hollywood that wrote the movie Lost Island 2 or Lost City 2. Different guy. If you're listening, I know you're not. Let's just do the show. It'll take an hour. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
In my John McClane voice.
John
have
McClane.
a couple drinks, have a lot of little kicks. It'll be fun.
John McClane from Die Hard.
Yeah, as he's going through the HVAC system, he's like,
"Yippee-ki-yay!
Coming out, we'll have a good time. We'll have a couple of laughs. It'll be a good time."
Fucking hell, classic. Oh, well, actually, I'll ask you a question: Die Hard or oh Jesus, how did I forget? Lethal Weapon.
Die Hard.
Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Yes.
All right, that's the other question. Wasn't Lethal Weapon also a Christmas one as well? There was one of them.
It was during Christmas, but I don't remember Christmas being integral.
The first Lethal Weapon.
Him surviving all these obstacles to reunify his family for Christmas.
True, when you think about it. But so was Lethal Weapon 1 as well, sort of.
I don't remember Lethal Weapon and the plot well enough. I remember liking Lethal Weapon 2 more than Lethal Weapon 1.
Yeah, they're all pretty good from 1 to 3 anyway. But 1 and 2, 3 is sort of forgetful. 1 and 2 is great. The Die Hards are pretty good, but then was there up to 5 or 6 versions of Die Hard?
I think they're still making more.
Ugh, time out. Hasn't Bruce Willis got some sort of dementia or something like that?
Yeah. His brain is gone. That's why he did so many crap movies in such a short period of time, so that he could make as much money as he could.
Wow.
And video games and shit. Like he planned, he made sure that to sock away extra $10-12 million over like 4 or 5 years. He didn't care what he was doing. He was taking every gig.
Damn, that sucks, man. Oh well, that's life. It happens. You know what I mean? But anyway, let's get back into the
main event.
It's
the main event.
The main event. It is Bron Breakker, your champion, your NXT champion, that is, versus my boy Grayson Waller for the NXT championship in a steel cage match.
And isn't that the Grayson Waller music?
Yeah, something like that. I like it. I like his tune, man. But it's sort of there's too many things going on in the song though, so I can't really I don't know. But anyway,
I mean, the best part, he had the shoe bearer with the golden Air Jordan, and then there was like 6 of them out there, and I guess one of them, her boobies kept falling out of the thing, so they put her in a different top.
He's just
the same material.
I feel like I know what you're saying. When people compare him to The Miz, I get it, right? But he's sort of how do I put it? Like he's The Miz if he had a
club
little
party guy than the Miz.
Yeah. But with more freedom, though, I feel a little bit.
The Miz is more of a socialite country club.
True.
He's more of a Biff, where Grayson Waller is definitely more of a
jock.
Yeah, he's the coke dealer at the end of the
club.
Knows all the way.
That's why he does that Eshe Aussie thing, right?
Remember Raw Underground?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, now you remember what I said about Raw Underground with Shane McMahon?
Right.
Well, he was the exact wrong person because Shane. I said that Shane McMahon is the coolest 49-year-old that you.
Oh
will
yeah, I
know.
remember that. I remember that.
He will
Yes,
plan the best bachelor parties. He will take you to the best clubs.
that
He will
was
get
on
you
our
VIP
show.
tables.
As a matter of fact, you
I
said
it
that.
all.
I
Like,
remember.
he'll get you the cleanest strippers. He'll get you the most expensive hookers. But what Shane McMahon is not is underground. He's not underground at all. He's about as underground as Donald Trump Jr. So Grayson Waller, he could make Raw Underground work. Like he could be like a Dario Cueto
Because of his style of like wrestling, he kind of comes across like a shoot fighter a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I could also. Well, he was. I think he's a boxer. But
Yeah, I think you're
to
right. He
me,
was a boxer.
What I'm saying is like he'd come apart as sort of like a club organizer, like someone who would organize like the fire festival at an island.
Yeah. But shifty, shifty.
Yeah.
He's just,
And then by the time you realize it failed, he's in San Francisco.
Yeah, it doesn't give a
launching
fuck.
New crypto exchange.
yeah, 100%, 100%.
That's it. He's like a party guy, con man, always one step ahead of Johnny Law.
I like him, man. I like him, no doubt about it, dude. I'm looking at him right now, as a matter of fact. Did you know he went by in the independent circuit, right? He used the rename Matty Wahlberg.
I didn't know he worked on the independent circuit.
Yeah, neither did I, because he really came out of nowhere. I never heard of him on the indie scene here. I just saw him on American television, literally.
I mean, aren't you the indie circuit there? Aren't you the biggest star in Australia?
I am, exactly. But get this, you're gonna like him after I tell you this, though. He was also a history teacher in New South Wales. And was also part of the Australian Survivor TV series. Yeah, history teacher. Interesting.
No, that's how they found him. They found him on the Survivor show.
Did they?
Yeah, they found him from a reality show. That's where they.
No way.
Yeah.
Well, he was on the Australian indie scene from 2017 to 2021, and they never saw him there.
Well, it was probably a combination of both. I mean, he must have mentioned he was an independent wrestler when somebody saw it, and they probably looked at his stuff and they said, "This tall kid got a lot of personality. He's got the social media influencer. Let's see what we can do with him." Listen, I see what people see in him. I just wish he would gain some freaking weight. That's all. Or I'd prefer him to be. Well, no, I mean, like I said, like a Cesar Duran, Dario Cueto type. But no, I mean, he is good in the ring. I mean, he's learning more moves. Like he's gone from 4 moves to 6 moves to now he's got like 9, and a lot of them are sort of daring,
high impact. They're kind of high impact moves too, man.
Yeah, they're hype moves.
Right.
So that's cool. I mean, again, a Shane McMahon parallel there. By the way, Kiana James has an excellent working punch. But yeah, this match was fine. It was a typical Braun Breaker match. I mean,
it wasn't the best match, really. Yeah, but like you said, it was a typical Braun Breaker match.
When he kept doing those mini shoulder knockdowns, that was a little bit. I mean, but Grayson Waller was right when he said on his vignette, Braun Breaker, champion, boring. He's right, boring.
You gotta love the guy for that, man. Hey, he kind of made him look silly, but that's why I would have hoped that Grayson would have won this match. Unfortunately, Braun Breaker's the Goldberg of NXT, it seems.
Do you think at the end of the match, the way it played out, that it's a double turn? Do you think that people are now sympathetic to Grayson Waller and that Braun Breaker lost the heel?
I don't think it's intentional, but I think he sort of earned the respect of the fans to the point where everyone is sick of Braun Breaker, dude.
Facial expressions, the way Braun Breaker was yelling at him, and he did one more move just to instill punishment. No, I think it was purposeful.
You think? So?
I think it's the start of a double turn.
Interesting. But what's Braun Breaker's reason to actually, to hate on everybody at this point? Because
because he's boring as fuck, and maybe they need to see if he's got a mean side. I mean, if he can make that interesting.
He will work better as a heel, I think. Much better.
Hope so.
I think he would, man.
Listen, if his last name wasn't Steiner, I'm not sure he'd have a job.
Oh, well, he does look good. Just looking at him.
I mean, honestly, aside from the last name Steiner and 13 years, what's the difference between him and Brian Cage?
You got me there, actually. But to be fair, I prefer Braun over Brian Cage, though.
Why?
I mean, I can't stand Brian Cage's head, dude. Straight up.
Okay.
And the sideburns, we get it. You're Wolverine, but
so
you're not.
It's his hairstyle.
Yeah, maybe. And he's too juiced up out of the gills, man. I mean, I know Bron's probably juiced, but maybe not. I mean, naturally, I think he'd be pretty big.
Don't know. I mean, I know that he'd get the good stuff that you would pass test from the NFL. I mean, you would get the human growth hormone, which is legal. If you
is it? Oh yeah, it is. If you have a doctor's growth hormone,
it's in your body. So.
I kind of like that about the States, though, man. You can get something like here. They make everything fucking legal, dude. Like it's even weed, for example. I mean,
when you play at University of Michigan or wherever he was, and the first time you get a little tweak, he needs this to rehabilitate. Okay, nobody in the state of Michigan asks, and then when you do it in the NFL, the doctors just keep it coming.
Really? Sure. So you think the NFL's all caca basically with the corruption?
I don't think it's corruption. I just think that
they're supposed to have a drug test.
Loose with what constitutes an injury that requires things like human growth hormone. I mean,
you do recover faster. That's true.
Yeah, and especially if you use it forever. But I mean, real people don't look like those guys.
That's true too. I mean, yeah. No, you're right. You're right, man. It's true. It is what it is. But I mean, yeah. But Bron Breakker, if it is a double turn, I'm cool with that. Grayson Waller doesn't even really have to change that much because I think the fans just like his attitude, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So it works. I just need to see how Bron Breakker would react or act as a heel. I think he'd be better if he talks less and just says, I'm going to whoop whoever's butt.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. I think he needs to be acting like, instead of like his daddy, he's got to be Scott Steiner pretty much as a heel.
Oh God! If he could channel half of his uncle's personality, that would be amazing.
I mean, where's all my freaks?
Yeah, I mean, all the guy needs is a personality. But we say that about so many people. All they need is a personality.
If you had Grayson Waller's personality on the Bron Breakker, body type, either one would be a massive star.
Yeah, but a million people have said this. If Adam Cole had Drew McIntyre carrying Cross's body, he'd be a 5-time world champion by now.
Speaking of Cross, you know how you were talking about the list that you're going to do in the future? Is Cross going to feature in it?
He wouldn't be in my. He wouldn't be.
You're giving him another chance, damn you!
But if I was struggling up to 25, he might have to make it there. I mean, especially if they're elevating Bron Breakker. I mean, what's the point? The same guy.
Bron Breakker's bigger though, I think, than Cross.
No, I think Cross is actually bigger. But he's certainly taller.
Yeah, maybe by an inch or two.
Well, there's a pretty big difference between 6'2" and 6 foot, so
but it's not too much of it. But yeah, I see where you're coming from. Well, anyway, Bron Breakker wins by pinfall with a spear, retaining his NXT championship. Post-match, though, we get Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams come to the stage, issuing an obvious challenge. So I guess that's next, and hopefully it's time for Breakker to lose his belt, this time to Carmelo.
Yeah, I mean, did they say when that match will be, or are we just going to assume that'll be its deliver?
Beats me. I assume it will be at Stand and Deliver, right?
I assume that'll be 1 o'clock the Saturday of WrestleMania.
Is that going to be in the same area as WrestleMania? Is it going to be in Hollywood or California in general?
I believe so, yes.
So we're going to go outside again of the PE.
I believe that they're going to do the same thing where they just release less tickets for that event in the same facility. I don't think they're going to rent like a smaller arena next door, but maybe they will. I don't know what's in the SoFi Arena area. I don't know if there are options like that. Like at Madison Square Garden, there's like 3 or 4, maybe more, like anterooms where like the Felt Four and the Hammerstein and things like. I mean,
the ballroom in MSG, because people don't realize there's another little arena in MSG that holds about 8,000, I think 10,000.
That's the Felt Forum. Yeah, there's a bunch of which
is MSG, nice too. I love that one. That's actually quite gorgeous.
Yeah, they've got. Ooh, listen to you, gorgeous.
Yeah, bourgeois.
Yeah. Are you sipping your tea while you're doing that?
No, I'm sipping.
Are you having your cognac?
Cognac, is that how you called it? It sounds very Polak.
Are you having well, it's French.
Well, yeah, but you know,
Are you having an aspartif?
or esprit?
Esprit? And a mouche bouche?
All right, enough of the French bourgeois talk right now. We're gonna. Everybody's wondering why are these mofo's talking French to each other.
No, they're
but
not.
anyway,
It's 5:30 where they know exactly why. The Miz would know.
the Miz will definitely know.
And
But
Maurice
would
would know.
Maurice.
That's right.
You think she would? Oh, interesting.
I bet she would.
Well, Jeff, surprisingly, you haven't fallen asleep, and surprisingly, I don't know what you're going to do once we are going to take it home now. But are you staying awake, Jeff? Or are you going to get a nap, an hour or two?
I think I'm going to take a nap. I think if I can make it to 6, I can get.
No. Sleep,
I can
dude.
get 5 hours in, take a shower, and be able to do
absolutely.
Dark Doom.
For sure.
My
1 o'clock, you said,
guest,
right?
who I confirmed, hasn't responded to the email yet, but he doesn't need to. So just tell him to send him the link at 12 o'clock my time. His name is Ashton Nibb. He's a paranormal explorer, investigator, and researcher.
What's we're going to be talking about ghosts, UFOs?
Mostly ghosts, and he also added cryptozoology, so I definitely going to spend some time on that in some of his cases. He's written a couple of books, and he is in the UK, so he has one of those things that's the top 10 most haunted locations in the UK. Listing Peterborough being one of them, and there's also Jack Megan's Human House, which is made, so definitely called the Devil's Hour, so I don't know. We'll see where it goes. This is a referral from my friend, Dr. Reverend David Perry.
Dr. Perry. Actually, before we do go, I want to ask you, do you believe in chocolate?
I don't believe that there is a Bigfoot. I definitely believe that there is some sort of larger area. But I, something related to humans that I think is possible.
And you think there's just some sort of, like excess, what's the word? Like something that's left from the past, but it's sort of like there still, but it's not. That's it. That's the word I was looking for. Residual.
I think there's a collective memory from folklore from all around the world of something that,
Well, we call it yowie.
yeah, I mean, there are certain archetypes and tropes which are found everywhere. So you can take the position that those are archetypes and tropes that are just somehow wired into the human condition, or you can say they're wired into the human condition because at some point our ancestors encountered them. Which is, by the way, what most scientists say why the snake, the serpent blade is so prominent is that our ancestors billions of years ago encountered snakes. Snakes killed for humanoids and everything else. In the water there were snakes, in the mountains there were snakes, in the desert there were snakes, on the rocks there were snakes, in the forest there were snakes.
Over here, there's snakes all around you, dude. I'm not kidding. I hate snakes. Snakes in Australia are too deadly. They're the worst in the world, mind you. And they're absolutely everywhere.
You know that 88% of people have a fear of snakes.
I believe that. You know, it's odd. I'm not afraid to hold a snake. Like my friend's got a pet snake. But I held it. I'm not going to mention his name. And yeah, I wasn't like, it's not the first time I've had a snake, but the wild snakes, man, the venomous and everything escapes.
You're talking about snakes?
No, snakes. We haven't made a finish comment, actually. Tonight. There you go.
Oh, yeah, I was going to let the wrong one out. That's good, too. Are you my wife?
Hell no. Let's not go there, but Jeff, tell them they can find you.
Find my red zone Twitter at IcarusLMG. We're not on the PWC. If you hear me talking wrestling, like the Analog Hangover, it's not on the Big Daddy Mania. Talking about my my conflicted feelings about the death of Lanny Poffo. For those of you who are not watching live, under my handle here, reference to YouTube video, which is my ridiculously more gorgeous than a fiance, Juliana. Riccardi did an interview with Lanny Poffo and handed it along on YouTube. It's under Via La Mafia or Juliana. It's basically only hour long. There's only about 6 videos. I think it's last about an hour. It's from about a year ago. And they're talking about lots of stuff, mostly not wrestling. So it's handed to his soul. Where else can you find me? Garden of Doom and Garden Views are my non-wrestling podcasts. Garden of Doom as well. A lot of the stuff that Jimmy and I have been babbling about here. So if you're interested in things like cryptids and history and alternative history and where people came from and where they went and hominids and humanoids and stuff, Garden of Doom is a place for you. Garden Views is a little bit more topical, tends to be a little bit more legal, tends to be more issue-driven, but, I try to do things which I think would have some sort of mass interest, and test it out. Let me know what you think. Give me ideas. I'm going a little different direction. For Valentine's Day, I'm going to interview someone who's a matchmaker. And,
oh, interesting.
I didn't even know it was still a profession, but apparently it's growing. It's back again. I guess the Tinder era is over and it's back to the human touch. So
it's a miracle.
Yeah, it's yeah, it sure is. So we're going to try and do that, and I don't know. That's where you can find me. So, but check out the YouTube video. I think that you will find it strangely intriguing, and even if you don't, you're going to get some great cleavage.
You said it.
And from Viviana too, not just Lanny.
Rest in peace to Lanny Poffo, man. Leaping Lanny Poffo. Man. Like I said, it still hasn't really sunk in for me, but unfortunately he has passed away. But if you want to follow me, you can on Twitter at DJ MassFX and also at the PWC Network. Please like and subscribe right here at the pwcnetwork.podbean.com, where you can find all our shows. Also at channelattitude.com, where for $5, yeah, you can get me talking SmackDown and talking Rampage, basically talking Friday night shows at channelattitude.com, and also at HamimMediaGroup.podbean.com, where you can find Jeff's shows and all our affiliate shows. In saying that, I'm Jimmy T, that's Evil Dose Jeff Lippman, and you've been listening and watching the PWC NXT Vengeance Day post-game show right here on the PWC Network, and we're out. Peace.
Shoot balloons and ask questions later, and stay evil, my friends.
The PWC Network. What the world is watching and listening to.
سبحان خالق الجبار
Put you in the camel clutch, crack your spine like a Dutch. Sideline, ringside, paralyzed, fuck a crutch, cause you're gonna need a wheelchair. Then I lean with the overkill, smash your baby face with a steel chair. The square circle, you'll get killed there. Black and blue, when you turn a purple, leak it red when it's still there. Ain't Bill Fair, catching heat with the crowd. Just another vicious heel down the cheat, and he's proud. Hear the screams wasn't allowed. They're reading out his palms, fuck your book of songs. When the dirty Saudis dropping bombs, ain't police with batons, but he's pro martial law. You speak infidel, catch a partial to your jaw, bow it down to a law. Just bring it down a victim, equipped with a stable just in case he's got a stick him. No title when he strips him, he'll vacate the champ, sabotage him backstage, bash his face on the ramp. Call me clutch, ring the bell, cause the pain is so vital. He can lose by a count, I'm still retaining the title. You can win by DQ, but you're soft like the Dairy Queens. You're built like Enzo and skinny like his pair of jeans. Rape your dignity and punish your lies. Ben, I mean, there's a pinpoint 200 wise. Thumb to your rise, you can catch a man till it falls. He can pull a foreign object, infection your skulls. Hack you in the back of the stalls, blasting through a door hinge, laughing on his podcast. Conspiracy horsemen with no endorsement, it's simply a promise. He's a sultan of slime on a mission of vomits. When his mission's accomplished, he will be the reigning champ, putting all you fat fans in a weight training camp. Armageddon is come, he'll put it into pro wrestling. Act a high mean, and you might as well replicate.
The PWC Network. What the world is watching and listening to.